Tim Bradley has said that he will show Manny Pacquiao no mercy and no compassion in their rematch on Saturday. And this was in response to a comment which Manny Pacquiao apparently made to Tim Bradley face to face. And he told Bradley that in their first fight, he basically carried Bradley, that he held back. And I believe he said God told him not to knock Tim Bradley out. Words to that effect. So Bradley is responding to that and saying, well, okay, you might have had mercy for me, but I ain't going to have no mercy for you. It's not in my nature. When I'm in the ring, it's dog eat dog. And I don't have no mercy for my opponent. And we know what Tim brings anyway. Tim's got tremendous heart, tremendous tenacity, and he's a extremely competitive guy in the ring. He won't hold back for no one. Okay, so let me know how you feel about Pacquiao's comments first and foremost. Do you think he really did hold back in that first Bradley fight? I know most Pacquiao fans probably believe he did, but a lot of other people suspect that maybe Pacquiao didn't hold back. Maybe he's just telling himself that to convince himself that he's got more in the tank than he really has. As we know, in the build up to this fight, Bradley has been saying time and time again that Pacquiao is not the same fighter that he used to be, that he don't have the fire. But again, in a recent comment this week, Bradley has said that he thinks he's got under Pacquiao's skin with all these comments about Pacquiao not having the fire and what have you, and that this will actually fire Pacquiao up. So we could be in for a good fight. The first fight wasn't a great fight, to be honest with you. Yes, it's a Manny Pacquiao fight. It was a big event, so it always seems more dramatic at the time because of the ramifications of, you know, Manny Pacquiao losing, basically. That's why it seemed like a dramatic fight at the time, because, you know, what happens if Pacquiao loses? Because Pacquiao is obviously one of the most famous fighters in the world. But when you go back and watch the tape, that fight was not exciting. And because of that, I haven't really been looking forward to this rematch. Well, that's one of the main reasons I haven't been looking forward to this rematch, because the first fight wasn't really that great anyway. There was very few clean power shots landed by either man. Bradley was obviously moving around a lot and trying to get away from Pacquiao's. To be honest with you, both guys showed a very good defense in the first fight. Especially, well, both of them, but Pacquiao showed an improved defense because Bradley's always had pretty good defense. I know there's been fights like the Ruslan-Provodnikov fight where he let defense go out the window, but for the most part, if you go through Bradley's career, he's always had pretty sound defense. But Pacquiao has been a guy who's had a lot of lapses in his defense throughout his career. But in the Bradley fight, the first fight, I thought his defense was a hell of a lot better than normal. I was quite impressed with the improvement there. So, yeah, I'm not necessarily looking forward to this fight that much. I'm obviously going to watch it because I'm a boxing fan and I've got a tremendous amount of respect for both Bradley and Pacquiao. Both of these guys are warriors. They both fight with their hearts. There's no quitting either of them. So I've got a tremendous amount of respect for both guys. But the first fight wasn't a great fight. And on top of that, I think there's more exciting and intriguing fights for both of these boxers outside of fighting each other. I would have much preferred to see Bradley go on and join Showtime and Golden Boy, to be honest with you, because I would have loved to see him in there with people like Danny Garcia, with Keith Thurman and some of the other welterweights out there. I'm not so hot on him fighting the top rank roster. I mean, who is there in top rank right now? You got Pacquiao, you got Marquez, you got Provodnikov and Alvarado. He's already fought Provodnikov, although, you know, the rematch would be good. But we've seen it the first time around. Again, it's covering all ground. He's already beat Marquez. He's already fought Pacquiao. So who's going to fight? Well, Alvarado? If Alvarado manages to get past Marquez, I mean, there's not really much there for him to fight in a top-ranked roster. So I would have preferred him to go over to Golden Boy and fight some of their fighters. But that's just me. Maybe you disagree. And the same goes for Pacquiao. Pacquiao could, you know, fight Provodnikov. That'd be an interesting fight, even though they're both trained by Roach. Roach has said previously that it could happen. Okay, that he'd be open to a Provodnikov-Pacquiao fight happening. Obviously, he would take Pacquiao's side. Yeah, he's definitely going to be in Pacquiao's corner and not in Provodnikov's corner if that fight was to go ahead. I believe it was Roach who said it. It was either Roach or Aram who said that fight could be made. Correct me if you've got the exact information, but I'm pretty sure I read an article on boxingscene.com about that. So, you know, Pacquiao could fight Provodnikov, or he could fight another fight with Marquez, which he obviously wants. And the Marquez fights, apart from maybe the third fight, the Marquez fights are always exciting. The first two fights were exciting, and the fourth fight was exciting. So I'd happily watch another Marquez fight, even though it would be the fifth one, and maybe people are tired of seeing these two guys get it on. The way the fourth fight was dramatic, and there was, knockdowns all over the place. Why would I not want to see another one of those fights? It was a great fight. So I'd like to see Pacquiao do that. I'd like to see Pacquiao fight some of the Golden Boy fighters as well. So I just feel there's more exciting matchups to be made outside of these two guys fighting a rematch with each other. But of course, I understand why the rematch is taking place. Most people felt that Pacquiao won the first fight, but he got robbed on the cards. And I'm in agreement with that. I think Pacquiao definitely won it, but they didn't give it to him on the cards. Going into this rematch, I'm definitely wondering about Manny Pacquiao's fire, but I'm also wondering about Tim Bradley's chin. And I've always been a big proponent of Tim Bradley in terms of his boxing skills and ability. Okay, if you go back and look on my channel, on this channel, or on my other channel, Hatman TV, I've always been a guy who is quite big on Tim Bradley. I've always rated him very highly from way before he fought Pacquiao. From back when he beat Junior Witter was the first time I really took notice of him. And I was very impressed with him from then in terms of his boxing brain and his ability to adapt to different styles. I was very impressed with him. So I don't say this lightly, but I'm worried about Tim Bradley's punch resistance ever since the Provodnikov fight, because he looked so vulnerable in that fight. And I can't get the image of him reeling around the ring on jelly legs out of my head. Marquez didn't manage to land a really big shot on Bradley's chin to test it out since the Provodnikov fight. So to me, it's still an open question. It's still an open question. If I hadn't seen that Provodnikov fight, if that Provodnikov fight hadn't taken place and we hadn't seen Bradley reeling around the ring on jelly legs, I'd be picking him to win the rematch with Manny Pacquiao. That's right. I'll be picking him to win the rematch. Not only because I believe he won't have the ankle injuries in this fight that he had in the last fight. And again, a lot of Pacquiao fans don't want to hear about the ankle injuries, but the fact is he did injure his ankles, people. And there's no way that injuring your ankles like that cannot affect your performance. I know there's adrenaline and whatnot, which makes you fight through the pain, but it's going to affect your performance. Okay. Now, in the first fight, I predicted that Pacquiao would win on points. Okay, the prediction's still up on my old channel, Hatman TV. Go look at it. I predicted Pacquiao would win the fight on points. Okay, so going into the rematch, I just feel that Pacquiao is not quite the same as he used to be. I agree with Tim Bradley on that. I feel Pacquiao's not quite the same, and that Bradley has actually improved. He's continued to improve in terms of his boxing skills, and also he'll be going into this fight, like I say, with healthy feet. And I think his feet will stay healthy throughout the fight. And he's seen Pacquiao before. He knows Pacquiao's moves. The speed ain't going to shock him the way it shocked him the first time around. So that's what I'm thinking going into the fight. That Bradley's going to know more about Pacquiao now. And he's going to know his moves. The speed ain't going to shock him. So from a boxing point of view, I think Bradley's going to do even better in this fight than he did the first time around. My issue is what happens when Bradley gets clipped, because he will get clipped at some point in this fight. Pacquiao will clip him. Okay, Pacquiao clipped him a couple times in the first fight, but Bradley managed to take them. But after that Provodnikov fight, I just don't know, man. I don't know if his punch resistance is quite the same. I don't know. It's an open question. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying I don't know. So don't misquote me, please. So for that reason, I'm going to sit on the fence. I always make a prediction if I feel strongly about the outcome of a particular fight. If I feel it's going to go one way or another, I always make a prediction and say. But with this fight, I really don't have a strong feeling either way. So I can't even make a prediction on this one. I'm just going to watch the fight and enjoy it and see what happens. So I hope I enjoy it anyway, because like I said, the first fight wasn't a great fight. I hope this fight is a lot more action-packed and we see more quality punches landing. But that's just my thoughts going into it. I'm unsure about Bradley's punch resistance. If he hadn't had that fight with Provodnikov, I'd be more confident in picking him to win this time. Win legitimately, because like I said, the first time I scored the first fight for Pacquiao. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, let me know about everything I've discussed in this video. What you feel about Tim Bradley's comments saying that Pacquiao don't have the fire, and how you feel about Pacquiao, you know, saying that he does have the fire, and, you know, Bradley saying that he's not going to show Pacquiao any mercy, and everything I've just talked about in this video. Drop your comments below. This is Hat Man. I'm out.